Hello, Namaskar. Good afternoon, all and all present over here. Today we're going to have a very great interactive session with a great personality having extensive expertise in the domain of big data and artificial intelligence. I, Ms. Kasturi Hazarika, placement coordinator at SBU on behalf of entire SBU fraternity and Smiles Education. It's my privilege to welcome today's guest and speaker. First of all, we'd like to introduce today's guest, Mr. Philips Verghese, VP and Global Lead Applied Intelligence, Analytics and Innovation at Accenture. He also a co-founder and CEO of Data Informatics Private Limited. It is a big data analytics and artificial intelligence firm. Mr. Philips has 17 years of rich experience, cross-functional experience and expertise in the field of artificial intelligence, cyber intelligence, next generation cyber defense, digital transformation, disruptive innovation, and cognitive decision systems. So I guess it will gonna be a very interactive session and interesting and learning session, especially for those students who wants to make their coming future in the field of big data analytics and AI firm. Now I would like to introduce our speaker moderator, Mr. Prasanjit Sarma, Regional Manager, East and International, Mike's Education. Welcome, sir. Over to you, sir. Now we can go ahead. Okay,
Philip, sir, over to you.
Before Mr. Philip, Rupinder here from Miles. Should I give you the screen access?
Yes, please do.
Yeah, sure.
So, good afternoon, one and all who joined the session. So, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to share my knowledge and experience with all of you, especially in the areas of analytics and AI, and also the fintech aspects on the new technologies we call as exponential technologies here today. I'm going to share a lot of examples and case studies and information with all of you. So I have a disclaimer here. Though I work in Accenture today and I worked in various organizations in the past, whatever the example I am going to share here is completely based on the information available in the public domain. So all the information I'm showing is either based on my information on knowledge or experience or expertise and the research what I do. So I am nothing to do with any of my current or past organizations. Now, the topic is, as all of you are aware, how analytics and AI and other exponential technologies in the fintech area is going to transform the world, and what kind of opportunities are awaiting for all of us. This is me, just to save some bandwidth for all of you. I'm not coming into the video today. I love sharing my knowledge because I know that there are so many aspiring students out there who would like to build a career and who are seeking for opportunities to work in organizations where especially these new technologies are coming up. So they would like to have an idea about what are the key developments in larger corporates, in the industry, in different parts of the world, and so on. So I love sharing my knowledge and experience with all the people who are interested in this area. So thank you once again. Before we get into the details of the analytics topic, just have a look at, I think there are still people joining, sorry. So, let's look at, I'm not sure if somebody is using the screen. Is anybody using the screen with a marker here? Okay, I think stop.
No,
yeah, because there is a red line over my, yeah, okay. So, based on the research and article by World Economic Forum, it's saying that the traditional jobs are getting impacted because of various reasons. Okay, so the traditional jobs like manual data entry, manual labor, manual interventions, manual project management, marketing, accounting, processing, anything which is traditionally manually done is getting replaced and automated with the help of computer systems. Now, if you look at quality control, time management, project management, data entry, all those things are the skills are declining. That means the need for those kind of skills are declining because the world is getting very, very advanced. Now you need people with new skills, new expertise, new experiences required to be available to manage this new order, right? So the world and the companies, organizations are looking for people with new skills. So some of the skills are, if you look at 2022 skills outlook by World Economic Forum, the first skill, the most important skill, the growing skill the industry needs is people with analytical thinking and innovation mindset. So doesn't matter whether we are coming from a mathematics background, economics background, commerce background, engineering background, mechanical background, legal background, or teaching background. Today, industry needs people who can do a lot of analytical thinking and with an innovation mindset. People who can actively learn things. Industry needs people with an active learning skill. Somebody has to be continuously learning. Today, industry needs people with a lot of creativity, originality, and initiative driven. Today, industry needs, I'm not talking about engineering or medical and so on. I'm talking about all the industries. Across industries, today people need resources with technical expertise, people with critical thinking, people who can solve complex problems, people with leadership expertise, somebody who can lead, somebody with real good emotion intelligence, people with good reasoning skills, people with new idea evaluation or new ideation skills, people who can analyze the system and evaluate things. So those are some of the key skills that is required. So whether we are from economics background, accounts background, supply chain background, physics background, nursing background, legal background, any background, these are some of the key skills that is required across industries, across the globe. Okay. Now, one of the key things that we have seen is actually why these kind of skills are important. Now, Standard & Poor is a big global company. They are a big research company. One second, let me just admit a few more people. Okay, so they have done a research. Now, based on the research, what they identified is actually the average life of a big company is about 60 plus years. That means if a company is big enough, large enough, they will sustain in the industry for at least 60 years. That is what their research. You can name big companies like Tata, so many companies. There for so many years, launched. The average larger companies lifespan is just 18 years. What does that mean? In 18 years, if that company is not bringing a lot of innovation to their organization, if they don't have new business models, if they don't have new products and services to the market, that company will be closed down. My personal experience is that now that 18 years is gone, it is all about 18 months. In 18 months, a company can be shut down. Let's look at all the startups, for example. There are hundreds of companies that are coming up. Now, these companies may not even have 18 years of lifetime. They may have maximum 18 months lifetime. In 18 months, they will see whether they will grow or shut down. McKinsey, similar global company, they do a lot of research. Based on their research, they predict that 75% of the company, the larger global for top 500 companies, will be disappearing from the earth. Another more than 350 companies will be closed down. The global big companies. Why? If they don't innovate, if they don't provide new service capabilities and solutions to the people, then these companies will not be live. Now, A company is nothing but people. If people are not having those skills, then how the company will survive? Because people have to make the business running, right? Now, if the people are not having the skills, then it will be skilled. One of the biggest changes happening in the industry today, every business is a technology business today. Every business. Earlier, companies were using technology to run their business. Today, companies are building business around technology. That means every employee in an organization today has to be a technology person or a technology skilled person, because business are getting more about technology, right? So that is why I was telling today, if you are from technology background or an HR background or a finance background, doesn't matter. You need to have new skills, technical skills to be surviving, because companies are getting into a mode where they continuously bring new products, new services, because otherwise they will not survive. Why they have to bring more products, new services? Because all their focus today is customer and customer experience. If there is no customer, obviously there is no business. Now, earlier, companies were building products and then they will be, offering a standard set of products, and they'll say, people, you can buy based on the products we offer. Now we don't have any choice. We have to just go and buy whatever the company produces. But today the situation changed. Today there are hundreds of companies producing hundreds of services. We can go and buy anything based on our needs. Whatever we need. So one size fits for all. That kind of an experience is changing into multi-channel model experience. That means today companies started giving their products and services in such a way that whatever their customers prefer, these companies started offering their services accordingly through any channel, through any experience. I will just give you one example. Now, 20 years back, if you wanted to take some banking requirements, right? For example, depositing money or transferring some money, taking a check deposit or a check request, anything from a banking need, what you need to do, to do that banking requirement, you have to go to the bank, then take a token, stand in front of the queue for half an hour, then finally do a lot of signing, signatures, application filling, and eventually we will get our requirement done, whether it is depositing money or taking money and so on, right? Half a day will go just like that for just certain money into the bank account. Now, today the banking has completely transformed. Now, how many of you will be going and standing in a bank's queue for half a day just to deposit some money or withdraw some money? I don't think any of you will go, right? Today you can just make a transfer or withdraw the money in probably less than 30-40 seconds, correct? With your app or with your ATM and so on. Now, you can transfer your money. So imagine that you want to transfer some money to your parent or your friend. You can transfer your money through your mobile banking, through your internet banking, through your ATM, or even through payment apps. For 30 seconds activity, earlier you would have been going to a bank and wasting half a day, right? And that is where companies are now bringing multiple channels for customer experience. This is a big change. This is a big shift. Now, in this process, I'm just talking about only the banking industry. Okay, there are so many other industries: retail, telecom, manufacturing, logistics, supply chain, medical and healthcare, educational institutions. Now today, all these industries, they are bringing AI-powered intelligent products and services. Okay, so that will become democratized. That means that will become very popular. Why? Because it has to enable customer experience. Now the future, companies need people with a lot of technical expertise to manage, run, and grow their organization. So we can call it as full stack cognitive architecture skills. And there are a lot of different skills, technical area. Some of them are probably you may be very familiar. Artificial intelligence, chain, extended reality, quantum computing, IoT, Internet of Things, cloud computing, analytics, big data. All these are new technologies which will be required to run an organization. So that is where, even though you are working in an accounts and finance department or in an HR department, you will need to know how to work with this system. You need to know what kind of technologies are this. That's why the difference. Now imagine 20 years back or 30 years back or 30 or 40 years back, there was no computer. I mean, in all the companies and all the offices, people used to do typewriting. People used to do shorthand. Used to do manual book entry. If you're not, could you please go on mute if somebody speaks? Yeah, okay, thank you. Now, after 40 years, can you see anybody doing typewriting or shorthand or manual account bookkeeping? We cannot see because everything is replaced by computer.
Praveen, can you go on mute, please?
Team, if you are not speaking, request all of you to go on mute. Okay, thank you. So we will not be able to see the traditional skills required anymore. We don't need anybody with typewriting skills to typewrite something. Typewriting skill can be used computer. We don't need a traditional accountant who will be doing bookkeeping and entry, because that is automatically taken care by accounting and financial software. So an accountant needs to learn computer, use computer, but otherwise accountant doesn't have any job. So similar future, you will see that these kind of additional technologies are going to be required to run an organization, and you need to understand what kind of technologies this is. So as I mentioned, intelligent, cognitive, artificial intelligence, analytics powered devices, systems will be in place that will interact with the customer. So that is where customers will have a lot of power, and you see that earlier in a city probably there could be 1 or 2 banks. Today there will be 2. So customer has a bargaining power to get a better product and services. So that is why businesses are taking customer centricity is a very, very key, rather than their products and services, rather than their employees and things like that. Customer centricity becomes the first priority. Okay. Now, the traditional way customers are engaged by this, by their corporate companies for that matter, through what? Through TVs. Companies are engaging customers through mobile phones, online channels, video systems, and social media. That's how customers are being engaged, right? Whether it is a telecom company, retail company, and so on. Now, these companies are directly connecting with their end consumer through these channels, where they will be able to understand the need of the customer more dynamically with all demographics and psychographics. They will know about every person, where they are from, what is their background, what they need, what they will need in the future, with the help of these digital systems. The traditional companies are having maybe accounting softwares, but the new age companies, this new company there, they will start collecting data about anything and everything, and they will do their business strategy on data. If a company has to run their operations on data, and they have to look at the data from across aspects, not only just from accounts and finance. They look at from the data from HR, purchase, procurement, marketing, fraud, and so on. And that is where you will see new companies like Google, so on, Facebook. These are global companies, #1 big companies. They started looking at the data to build their companies as the #1 companies in the world. They are all technology companies. They are all data companies. But what they have done is actually they leveraged analytics and AI to build their organization as a #1 companies. And today, if a company has to grow bigger and better, they have to follow this model. Then only they'll grow. They cannot run the traditional model of running a business. That is where people are required to help companies to grow with the new skills. Now, you will see a lot of devices are going to come, which will automatically do a lot of things. Machine to machine transaction. So, what does that mean? I am that all of you are from accounts and finance background. You are from your BCom course or MCom course. Now, whenever there is a transaction happening, typically what will you do? You record that transaction in your book, right? One second. Let me just submit everyone. Yeah. Now, that is also going to be changing with this new technology systems like blockchain or intelligent accounting software. That means whenever there is a product getting sold, whenever there is a transaction getting happening, automatically your accounts will be updated. If people are not speaking, go on mute. Thank you. So,
Abhishek, Arya, Surya, Priya, can you guys please go on mute?
I'm sorry, if people are not muting, I would be happy to exit you from the meeting. A lot of disturbance in the background, please.
Okay. Students, I request all of you, please mute yourself. Please mute.
Okay, thank you. So what I was talking about, how the future is looking like in many of the organizations across the globe, where each one of us will be working, right, as part of our career. So we'll all be working in these kind of companies which are continuously changing with these new technologies, new way of working. And everything will be smart and intelligent with the technologies what we have seen like artificial intelligence, blockchain, computer vision, and so on. And even our human beings also will become very, very smart, because in our own body you will see micro devices and smart chips will be embedded that will be connected even to the business. And there are already research and capabilities available even for in the areas of healthcare and medicine. Digital pills are available. That means, you know, that we take tablets whenever we are having health issues, right? Today there are digital pills available. That means with the tablet that we are taking, there is a small chip that we will eat. That chip will track the impact or the effectiveness of the medicine, and then the chip can send the details to the computer remotely. Imagine that is the world we are going to live in. So every aspect, right? I am going to show you a lot of examples. I'm just setting the context right now. Now you will see that a lot of companies will adopt systems which will be data driven, data powered, data enabled. The companies have to really use this data in a very, very intelligent way to grow, to improve their competitive advantage. If they have to grow, then they have to really analyze this data and then build intelligence so that they can take better decisions, and better decisions will help the companies to grow. And this will help companies to provide more personalized products and services to their client. Now, in this world, everyone, whether it is an HR person, finance person, marketing person, manager, account executive, doesn't matter. Everybody has to be skilled to use this data to analyze the data and then derive insights out of this, which will help companies to take a better decision. So everyone has to be a storyteller. Now, if you are an accounts person, you need to have analytical skills, you need to have technical skills, you need to be a storyteller, you need to be a problem solver, because your traditional job of account entry is not going to be there anymore, because the transactions will be originated as well as recorded by machine itself, because it is going to be machine to machine transactions and machine to machine interactions. And that is where artificial intelligence kind of technology and capability will be very, very important, and will be coming into picture. Now, I'm sure that all of you are familiar with artificial intelligence, right? Today, whether we know or not, in all the things what we do today, there is a bit of AI somewhere in the background playing. So in tomorrow, anything and everything what we do, there will be AI. Okay. I'm going to show you a lot of examples to that. Now, as I mentioned today, whatever we do it through digital platforms, digital channels, digital tools, right? Even this conference is happening on a digital platform. What happens in a digital platform is that whenever anything happens in the digital platform, a lot of data is getting generated. Now, this is where companies have to manage this data, extract intelligence and insights so that they can understand what's happening, what has to be done better, so that they will be able to take a better decision. And that is called knowledge engineering. If you're an accounts person, if you're an HR person, finance person, supply chain person, your job is going to be knowledge engineering, not just data entry, not just creating P&L and balance sheet. Your job is going to be extracting knowledge out of this data. And that will create a lot of opportunities from a job and employment perspective. That is going to create a lot of economic advancement, which is called as knowledge economy. Now, the example already heard, Google, Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, each of these companies are best examples for companies who became #1 companies just because they use analytics and data in a very, very big way. Okay. So in this whole process, the tradition disrupted. We don't typically read newspapers nowadays because the news is already coming to our mobile phones and WhatsApps, etc., through various channels. As I mentioned, we don't go to banking services today and stand in the queue there because we can do any banking requirement, transact, transfer money, take a loan, apply for a credit card, anything and everything can be done through a mobile app from a banking services perspective. The digital platforms today. The traditional banking companies, these companies are literally struggling. Let's take one example of retail showroom. Now, you know that traditional retail showroom, how it functions, right? You need to go to a typical showroom, retail supermarket, for example. There obviously 2-3 people will be there. A security guard will be there. Reception, there will be a billing counter there. There is a customer service agent, executive will be there. Then you need to keep your bag in the security area. You have to go for shopping. Then you have to come to the billing section, wait there in a long queue. After so much of time, then you have to pay the money and then come to the security guard. They will check your bills, then come out. That is a traditional shopping experience, right? Amazon Go introduced a new way of how retail shopping is done. They brought artificial intelligence and machine learning into a retail shop, which is called Amazon Go. Now, in this shop, you can just go inside the showroom. You can take whatever you want and you can come out. There is no queue, there is no line, there is no checkout. Everything happens very, very seamlessly. They use technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, computer vision, neural networks, so facial recognition, so much of technology they use inside this showroom so that you can just go inside, take whatever you want and you can come out. No billing, no queue, no checkout, no security, nothing. See how retail industry is changing. I was just talking about retail industry. Now there are many other industries are adopting these kind of technologies to automate, bring more intelligent products. Driverless cars, completely running on analytics, AI and artificial intelligence. Autonomous cars, we call it as. Governments are even building smart roads, AI powered roads for these kind of smart cars to run. China is already building one. So if you need to build a smart car which has to be running on a smart road, manufacturing industry is creating smart factories or intelligent factories where everything will be automated in an intelligent way. You cannot see any people here. It's all manufactured by intelligent robots. So intelligent factories will create intelligent cars which will run on intelligent roads. That's how the future. And people will travel in these intelligent cars and they will shop from intelligent shops, retail shops. And you will see any people there. Everything is artificial intelligence driven systems. And today these kind of technologies are being used in drug discovery, health diagnosis, customer service, facial recognition, and even unmanned aerial vehicle. And you are already started using some of these things. Now, I am assuming that many of you are using Facebook. Now, when some of your friends in a group photo, if you're uploading a group photo into Facebook, right, your friends, your family or something, then immediately you can see that your photograph will be given a lot of options. Tag your name, your friend name, your father name, or your sister name, or friend, whatever it is. It can give you automatically facial tagging, right? Tag your friends. How Facebook know whether it is that particular person? It does facial recognition. You click on accept the name, and automatically tags the person. But behind that capability, it is artificial intelligence. You are engaging with an AI system. Now, if you're using a smartphone where if you are enabling your thumb impression as your security login or login password, then again you are engaging with an AI system in the background. So today you literally start living in AI, and living as well as using AI systems. It is not only people and companies, even animals are coming into this ecosystem where animals are so embedded with this kind of smart chips, which will collect data continuously, and then this data will be analyzed to understand their production. And you will see these kind of intelligent systems coming into our own homes. These are some of the old, like Terminator, Robot, Matrix. I don't know how many of you know this. These movies came quite long time back, and these movies are very, very sci-fi movies. You could see a lot of robots doing very, very interesting things. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, for good or bad, many of the super sci-fi stories that we've seen in movies are all getting reality today with the help of artificial. Before I take further, I wanted to have a small poll here. Now there are two pictures, one male and one female. One of the pictures is created by an artificial intelligence solution, not the real photograph person. Which one is it? Male photograph or female photograph? Which one is a fake photograph? Can you type in your chat window? Would like to see some response, please. Which one is a fake image? Is it male or female? Male. I got one response. Male one is fake. Male one is real. I'm asking for the fake one. Which one is the fake? Female is fake. Female is fake. I think male is fake one. Female is fake one. Yeah, female is fake. I think majority of you are saying the female photograph is fake one. Correct? Okay. Thank you for the good response. Yeah, though we have some mixed response, but majority of you are going with the female photographs. Interestingly, both these pictures are fake ones. These are not original photographs of people. Both these are artificially created photographs.
So
we are living in a world where AI systems.
So I have said both are fake.
Oh, okay. I think that didn't came in the chat. So anyway, thank you for that. So both the pictures are fake ones. So today we are living in a world where these kind of systems can create not only pictures but also videos and voices recognition. And these technologies can be used for both good as well as bad purposes. And today companies are leveraging these capabilities to provide customer service, assisted services, and so on. There are so many areas these are being used. You will see in the future movies are scripted by AI systems. Movies will be acted by people, created by AI system. There will be virtual celebrities. They'll not be real celebrities. And these are all pictures of the virtual people only. There are no real people like this. Today, the industry is going ahead and creating even digital human, not only just photographs, but the real digital human. Technologies like TPE, 3D printing, brain mapping, analytics, you will see artificial human beings are going to be built. And this is an example of an artificial human being called Sophia. Sophia is a robot who got a citizenship in Saudi Arabia 3 years back. Now Sophia is calling a press meet. It is an artificial robot. but can talk like a human being, behave like a human being, interact like a human being. So that's how the world is moving. Companies will have these kind of systems coming into the picture, and not necessary that these robots can always come in the form of a typical robot like what you see in the picture here. I want to play a very small video just to show you this robots can take different sizes and shapes and play very different roles. So I'm going to show you an interview done by a robot in the form of a car.
Welcome, Oliver. Glad to see you put on blue shirt for the interview.
Yes, indeed. You're welcome.
Are you feeling stressed?
Just a bit, you know.
Please allow me to play some piano music to make you feel more comfortable.
I feel a bit better now, thank you.
Glad to hear that. Tell me, why should I hire you?
I've been passionate about courses, I'm a boy.
Okay, let's do a little test. Can you show me where my electric compressor is?
Sure. Here.
Perfect. Can you explain how my 360-degree camera... I think I'm going to keep you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
See, Volvo introduced an HR manager with the help of AI in the shape of a car who is doing the interview. The traditional HR job roles are getting fixed. It is going to be supported by AI systems. And is the other areas as well. For example, the accounts, the procurement, the marketing, the customer service. And yeah. So when the world is changing so fast like this, this is where we need to be upskilled ourselves with technologies and capabilities, expertise, new skills. You can even start your own enterprises. One such startup is in the Japan. When there was startup created a smart mask, which can translate 8 languages in real time, but still act as a mask. And this company was solving a problem for people who stranded in different other countries with pandemic, and they are not able to talk to others because they don't know the local language. This mask will be able to help the local people in their own language, where the mask will do the translation. Intelligent mask, which is again powered by AI. Artificial intelligence, natural language processing, text engineering, text analytics, voice analytics, all those things are being used here. And technology can be also being used in media companies. This is in China, Xinhua News Agency already started using an AI robot for reading news and conducting debate in other languages. This technology will be adopted even in sports and games, in the courts, in the movie industry, and even in industries like oil and gas. Because today AI is being used to select team players. Judges can use AI to declare a verdict whether to allow bail for a particular criminal or not. Today, this analytics and AI is being used in flights. There are more than 80 terabyte of data is getting produced every 1 hour in a larger flight. Real time, this data is being analyzed and intelligent decisions will be taken just to ensure that you will be landing safely. Analytics used inside an engine. Law enforcement agencies, including police departments, started leveraging this analytics to predict crimes. In Los Angeles Police Department, 20 years back, they started using analytics to predict crimes, and they were able to reduce 21% violent crimes. Amazon, as I mentioned already, there are so many examples. Amazon, if you go to Amazon.in, if 100 of logging at the same time, you'll all get different recommendation. Where there's 1 crore people, they'll get 1 crore different recommendation because Amazon uses an AI system in the background for recommendation engines. UPS is a parcel company, United Parcel Services. It's a parcel truck company. They spend nearly 10,000 crore rupees every year only for analytics. Why a parcel company has to spend so much of money in analytics is because they have more than 1 lakh vehicles on the road. They connected these vehicles with chips, smart chips and sensors. They collect the data from these vehicles and then analyze in real time to predict which vehicle will be going on breakdown, which vehicle insurance will be to be renewed in the next 3 weeks, which are the drivers who are not driving the vehicle properly, which are the vehicles are using for fraud or illegal activities. They'll be able to real time monitor, analyze it and take decisions. The data will be collected through the intelligence systems, the sensors, IoT systems, and so on. The vehicle department, the travel department, the logistics department, the purchase department, all will use this data, analytics, and insights to take better decisions. That's why they spend so much of money. So whether it is a mechanical engineer, whether it is a purchase manager, whether it is a logistics planner, whether it is a trainer, all of them have to use this intelligent systems to do their job. McDonald's, for every 50 rupees burger they are selling, there is a bit of analytics being applied in the background. They collect all this data, analyze the data to predict when the sale of a particular burger will be more, and when, in what season, what kind of products are being sold more. Rolls-Royce kind of companies, the engine manufacturing companies, they use analytics to collect the data in real time from the engines to understand their vibration, temperature, pressure, speed, etc. to ensure the engine is functioning smoothly. Shell is a petrol company. They use analytics to explore oil exploration fields in their oil rigs. Not only these larger companies, even smaller companies like a restaurant, hotel will be empowered with this kind of analytics and AI systems and intelligent robots. And these kind of systems will be even in our homes. For example, you can have a virtual doctor, a family doctor inside your house 24/7. So that doctor, you can see this in this smaller robot giving personalized health advisory based on the respective people's health. And you will see your own houses and homes will become smart, intelligent powered. Your TVs will become smart TV, smart refrigerators, smart electricity, smart light, smart AC, smart vacuum cleaner, smartphones, all will be connected and intelligent. AI in your own houses. I just want to play a small video about how AI is coming into your own houses.
Playing jazz.
Playing jazz.
Smoothie.
Making smoothie.
Calendar.
No meetings today. Remember, tandläkare at 9:30.
Fire off.
Fire off.
Open door.
Door open.
Så ska vi sätta en till.
Ja. Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Repeat that.
Open door.
I didn't understand that.
Hey, open door.
Play on the floor.
Get on the floor. Open the door.
Wrong voice command. Error.
Hey, William. With a rock. Open door. Open door. Higher.
So the first half of the video was
Higher.
humor and fun. So you will see that these kind of smart homes with intelligent and AI systems, and our homes where our retail showrooms, where our banking, telecom, all these things are getting smart, and that is where smarts are born. There's a huge opportunity out there for people in respective areas to play a crucial role here from a career point of view. So if you're all looking for a job, then you need to have these skills. If you have these skills, there are so many opportunities out there, because the digital platforms creates terabytes of data every second. Then you need a lot of people to quantify this uncertainty to help companies to take better decision. So decision making is one of the key skills that you have, and that is where analytics and AI will help you to take better decision. So to take a decision, you need to know what happened, what's happening now, right? And why it is happening before you take a decision. And before a decision, you also need to know what will happen, and based on that, I need to take a decision. And in the whole decision process, you also need help with how to take a better decision. So there are 4 types of analytics: descriptive, diagnostics, predictive, and prescriptive. These kind of analytics will help you to take a better decision, whether you're a finance person or a finance director, doesn't matter. And that is where you need to have this analytical skills. Now, there are so many use cases, as I mentioned: analytics, marketing analytics, finance analytics, supply chain analytics, log analytics, risk analytics. There are so many areas. HR analytics, right? Companies are using a lot of these analytics by collecting data from various sources, from social media, corporate data, the sensor data, the public data. Then they do a lot of analytics across all these areas. And then they take decisions on purchase, budgeting, marketing, customer management, vendor management. They take decisions across all these areas. There are various roles. If you would like to be in analytics as a career, you can start off as a data analyst. If you are more technically savvy, then you can become a data engineer. Or if you like to become a data scientist, you can definitely become a data scientist. You need a bit of mathematical skills, stats skills, programming skills, and domain knowledge and communication skill. But if you want to become a data analyst, definitely domain knowledge is extremely important, and with an analytical mindset. So analytics is one of the key drivers for for companies to. But when we build analytics, we need to ensure that we build analytics solutions with an ethical analytical solution. This analytical solution has to be transparent, explainable. It has to be responsible. It has to be accurate AI. Because if you don't build analytic solutions in the ethical way or responsible way or accurate way, these analytical solution itself can create damages. Okay, there is a car, Uber car, the AI car gone out and hit a person in the US and killed a person. So AI killed a person. So who is responsible for that? One of the AI solutions launched by Amazon rejected women candidates in their recruitment process. Again, a problem, right? So AI solutions can go wrong if it is not being used right, if it is not built right. And this is where we need to, as I mentioned, we need to have good AI solutions built, good AI solutions be used, because otherwise people can use these solutions for autonomous lethal weapons, for launching cyber attacks. Contents can be biased and delivered to you, which can influence your decision. So if analytics and AI solutions are not used in the right way, then all these problems can happen. Okay, that is where we will need right compliance, right governance, and policy. There has to be a legal framework, there has to be a value-driven model, and an ecosystem-oriented operations when we are leveraging analytics and AI. So this is all about analytics and AI, one of the key areas that is really transforming the world, and there are a lot of opportunities out there. More than 3 crore people required with analytics skills across the world from an employment perspective. There are so many research you can read through. If you're having better skill in analytics, you have a better chance of getting a better job. That's the story. But analytics is one of the areas. In the financial area, in the accounting area, I would like to talk about fintech. So RPA, robotic process automation, is one key area that is related to analytics as well, which is also having a lot of opportunities out there. Now, why automation? People would like to reduce the cost, improve the compliance, improve the quality, reduce effort, deliver the services at a shorter time. All those things are important for a business, and that is where companies are now implementing robotic process automation or automation solution. So there are different types of automation. Robotic process automation is the simple ones. Start with whenever there is a process to be happening. For example, whenever there is an invoice is getting raised, then you need to really make the payment, right? Now somebody has manually download the invoice, verify the details, and then if all the details are correct, then they will make the payment. Somebody will authorize, somebody will approve, somebody will initiate the payment. Now, if everything is, then the whole process can be automated. That is what is RPA. Now, sometimes you need to take intelligent decision, and that is where cognitive automations will be coming in. And some of the areas, before taking decisions, you need some intelligent advisory, and that is a digital assistance automation. And in some areas, the digital assistant itself becomes so intelligent that it can automatically take the decision. And in the future, you will see a virtual board of director or a virtual CFO, digital CFO. They'll be super intelligent. Okay, that's how the robotic process automation is coming into play. So RPA is another area that you can look at for your career aspirations. Now, in the accounts and finance, another new thing that is completely changing the accounts and finance world is blockchain. Blockchain is not only in accounts and finance, there are many areas blockchain is being used. Blockchain is a new technology that is in a completely decentralized solution, a distributed ledger model. It is working. Instead of a central agency controlling, for example, in our case, government and banks connecting to different people and controlling, blockchain will be a technology solution that will be working between different parties, eliminating the government and the middle party like the government and the bank system. So accounts and finance is something where blockchain technology is making a huge disruption and huge impact. Today, supply chain operations are managed through blockchain. HR, recruitment and skill management is managed through blockchain. Identity and access management, that means how many documents we have as part of our identity. One for driving license, one for passport, one for Aadhaar, one for election thing. Instead of having 20 identity cards, we can have a single one identity, and that can be managed through blockchain. Accounts and finance, instead of making 20 companies, making 20 different ledgers, books, P&Ls, balance sheets and all the things, you can have one single blockchain solutions. So blockchain is one technology that is coming into the world, which is really transforming many areas. Accounts and finance is one area where blockchain is extremely getting popularity. How do we really make use of all these things? If you need to build a career here, this is where I have a mantra, simple mantra. It doesn't matter whether we are a student or a teacher or a junior employee, senior employee, director, CEO, doesn't matter. Anybody, if they wanted to be relevant in this industry today, all of us have to follow these two mantra from my perspective. One, learn, unlearn and relearn. The second mantra is skill, upskill and reskill. Read it. Learn, unlearn and relearn. Skill, upskill and reskill. If you do that, I think definitely there are hundreds of opportunities waiting out there. There are lack of jobs, positions are out there in the market, but we don't have skilled people. We are expecting people to develop skills, whether through self-learning or through specialized programs, develop these skills that is relevant to the market. And I hope today's session, whatever I covered, has given you a view that how this is changing, how the industries are really transforming, what kind of skills are required to really be relevant today and get a job. Thank you so much for patiently listening to the session. I hope the session is useful. I would like to spend the rest of the time for taking questions if you have. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
So we are open to questions. We'll just spend around 5 minutes for any questions so that anybody might have.
So will artificial intelligence surpass human intelligence?
Very interesting question. So there are a lot of research happening in that area. There are, I don't have a yes or no answer, because in certain areas, artificial intelligence can process much faster and better than human being, because wherever there is a huge complex computational requirements, and that is where artificial intelligence can play well ahead in terms of human intelligence. But at the same time, the human qualities like empathy, sympathy, emotional decisions, it is going to be very difficult for computer to achieve just like the way human being, just like that. So there are strong areas as well as weak areas for computers. But there are so much of research and development happening in that area to see how computers become super intelligent.
Any other questions, please?
Sir, rise in artificial intelligence will lead to unemployment, sir.
That is a very regular question in all my sessions. See, you have seen that a lot of jobs are replaced by artificial intelligence. I think that's why this kind of concerns and questions are arising, right? Now, if I look at throughout my presentation, I was telling a lot of opportunities are getting created. Today, industry needs thousands of people with these kind of skills. People are not available. So AI, one side, replacing the traditional manual jobs, which are very repeatable and predictable, which are mundane jobs. Now, traditional accounts entry, repeatable and predictable, will be replaced by AI. But you need people with analytic skills to manage these systems, whether even if you're an accountant, right? And that is where, when AI replacing a set of jobs on one side, it creates a lot of opportunities on the other side. The only thing what you need to do is actually upskill and reskill yourself with a lot of learning. If I answer the question, okay. There is another question in the chat window from Aditi. What are the job opportunities in blockchain technology, and will there be more of it in the future? Yes, there are varied opportunities in the blockchain area, and there will be more opportunities coming in the future. You can become a blockchain specialist, blockchain operations manager, blockchain transaction manager, blockchain sales specialist, blockchain consultant. The only thing is that you need to upskill yourself again with the technical aspects of the blockchain if you're coming from an accounts background. So a lot of opportunities out there as a consultant, advisor, process manager, quality manager, implementation manager, and so on. Yeah, so there is another interesting question from Subham Prasad about the question. I'll read it out. You gave an example of a pill with tablet. There are several other similar things, and all these things can have track everything of a person. Is this correct? Yes, technically yes. The mobile phones that we use, any applications that we use, anything, whatever we do in the digital platform, everything can be tracked. A lot of privacy concerns are going to be there. That is where governments are now coming with a lot of regulations and rules to protect the privacy of the customer. So, but it is on the way. There are many countries evolving this one, but technically yes, anything and everything in the digital platform can be tracked and traced. What are the limitations of blockchain? One question from Kaushal. Okay, so for every technology, there are advantages as well as disadvantages. Blockchain is a technology which is already widely used in various industries and companies, but at the same time, there are different types of blockchain: public blockchain, private blockchain, and so on. Now, if you wanted to have a private blockchain network, then you need to have an ecosystem of companies coming together. They have to have the consensus together to have you as part of their blockchain. So it is a lot of process and technical replacement. So if you have to really migrate a lot of process to the new blockchain based solution, then you need to decommission all of your existing solution. You have to have a lot of legal and contractual agreements to be signed between various parties. So a lot of process and operational challenges are there to implement blockchain across multiple companies. Skills available in the industry is also another challenge. So you need to have a lot of skills to be developed, in the industry to have people who can implement these kind of solutions as well. Another interesting question from Dhruv: is it possible that in future AI will control us? As I mentioned in one of my slides, it is up to us. We need to make it right. When we build AI systems, we need to decide whether AI has to control us or we need to control AI. So we in the sense, all of us have a responsibility to develop right AI systems where we'll use it for doing good things or solving problems. So it is in our hands. How do we make it? Cryptocurrencies question is there from Aditi. Who is controlling the prices of the cryptocurrency, right? So there are various cryptocurrency frameworks and networks, and based on the demand, automatically prices goes up. It's all a demand supply problem. When the demand is more, if the supply is less, then obviously rate will go. Which platform is developing blockchain applications? There are so many blockchain solutions available, from IBM to Amazon to even open source Ethereum. There are so many open source blockchain frameworks are also available. It's all about where do you use this blockchain solution, for what use case? For managing your identities, managing your certificates, managing your supply chain, managing your accounts and finance. Where do you use this blockchain? And that is where you need to develop this application. Is blockchain plays a vital role in any organization? From Saurav Gupta. Saurav, today the adoption of blockchain is slowly increasing. Many companies are adopting this, but again, it's very, very dependent upon their use case, the problem statement, the area they want to implement and deploy. But it started. I think in the future, the adoption will be much and more.
So any last questions? Anybody? We'll just move on.
Digital pills are more important for organizations or not? So it depends again, for what is their objective, what is their purpose. People can use it either for good or bad, right? And it is up. We also have a responsibility. We also have a right to say whether we need to use digital pill or not. If you're concerned about the risk factors of that, we'll not use it. If you're concerned, if you're okay with the convenience and benefits it brings, then we may allow. Another question from Sardeep Kumar, that AI brings more job opportunities, but not everyone is fortunate enough to learn the data science. They will always remain unemployed with the increase in AI. Just to make our lives easier, we are making a living out of many poor people much more tough. Shouldn't it concern the government? See, I think in this whole process, in this whole ecosystem, there are so many opportunities for everyone, right? So AI is not just about coding. So please do understand that AI is not just about coding. Okay, AI is not just about technology alone. There are so many hundreds of other things associated with this. The supply chain, the customer care, the human aspect, the human element. You cannot replace everything, artificially, right? I mean, with artificial intelligence systems, humans are required. So again, if you are not upskilling, if you are not reskilling in the respective areas, we may become irrelevant. That's a fact that we need to accept. Imagine 200 years back, when there are so many people who doesn't know how to read and write. Now imagine if those people today living in this world, or people who are living today in this world who doesn't know how to read and write, how many opportunities they'll get as poor? The people who have more skill, more education, more expertise built, they'll have more opportunities. There's another question from Shivangini. What is the impact of machine learning and AI has on user experience? AI and I think in my personal perspective, AI and machine learning has created a huge positive impact on the user experience. Now today, instead of making me 20 searches in the Google or in any of the e-commerce portal, automatically based on my need, I will be automatically given recommended products based on my purchase history or browsing history and search patterns, etc. A very good example. EVM using blockchain, another use case. That is a fantastic example of a use case. But who is going to build it, implement it? It is up to the government policies and government decisions.
Right, Philip. So I think we had quite a good number of questions and pretty interesting ones. So students, basically, I have a small presentation for around 2-3 minutes, not more than that. So Philip, if you could just, make me the host.
Sure, Prasanjit. Let me just make you as an honor.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
So, thank you so much, everyone, for patient listening and for the excellent and fantastic question. Really appreciate. Wishing you all the very best, and thank you again, Miles, Prasanjit, and the Institute for having me here to share my knowledge. Wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm really sorry. Okay. Okay. So as I was just mentioning, first and foremost, thanks to Philip for taking out his precious time and giving us all this proper inputs, and also showing us this fantastic slide and the overall information that is important in today's world, right? So basis that, like we were just discussing and understanding that the start of these future and careers has to be at some point of time wherein you need to decide in your career and your college days that, okay, what kind of program is the right one for me. So in this same context, I would like to present to you this certified business analyst program, which is from Wiley. Now, a very quick understanding that what is Wiley. So Wiley is an organization which is around 210 years old. Okay. Now this organization is practically the global leader in terms of content. Okay. So have you guys ever thought that, okay, you're reading some book or maybe you're studying some statistics books in your college, but there has to be somebody who's written this book, or maybe there has to be somebody who gives you the information in terms of the content, right? So Wiley is one such organization who is practically the global leader. And in fact, they are probably the only company in this entire ecosystem wherein they have around 440 Nobel laureates who have even gone ahead and written for them. So that's a quick background, right? So this particular program, which is ideally suited for students at an integrated level, we are also in talks with your university regarding a program like this so that we can take it forward. So basically, we start off with Excel, then we move into Power BI, R. So very quickly, just to tell you that there are basically the course overview is that we start with there are 4 modules here, and towards the 5th we have an exam, fundamentals of basic and business analytics. We move into statistics, then comes into the application, and finally we move into the data visualization part. So that's a real quick understanding as to what are the 4 papers that we go ahead. Now ideally we should be having one exam after each of the modules, but on the top, as you can just see, that there are up to 4 exemptions possible, as in there'll be internal exams, but the final exam would be towards the end of the 5th semester. So that's the quick overview that's there. So the Wiley learning ecosystem, or the practicality of this particular program, what we try to take ahead is pretty simple. That first you go ahead and learn through all the case studies, online blending, curriculum and all, and then you move into the labs, because we would be requiring labs and systems so that you can do a lot of practice. Then you start implementing them, finally engage, transform, and obviously level up. Okay, so all these ultimately leads to job. Now coming to jobs, who are the people who recruit these kind of people, right? These are some of the organizations, and practically, as you can see on the left panel, we have already tied up with more than 150 MNCs. We have active MOUs with them, wherein all these organizations go ahead and adopt and take candidates from the campus itself. So this is also something we go ahead and do in the campus itself, right? So this is all just a very quick 5-6 slides presentation that I just wanted to show you. So that's I think enough, right? As I just mentioned, I'll not take more than 2 or 3 minutes, right? So that's it. So, ma'am, any other doubts, questions that you might have? Anything else you want us to talk about?
Yes, I'll take this questions from our students. If they will have any kind of queries, then I'll let you know. I'll mail you. And
Sure,
you can...
sure. No.
Okay. Okay. Students, do you have any questions? If you have any question, you can write in chat box. Otherwise, you can mail me or you can WhatsApp me. Okay, sir.
Okay, any questions? We can just spend 1 more minute. Ma'am, I can
Yes.
just give you 1 more minute. Philip is also running late.
Okay.
Anybody,
yes.
any questions?
I'll take, I'll do one thing. I'll take their questions and I'll mail you accordingly.
Sure, not a problem. Right.
Okay.
Okay, so that's all from our side. Thank you so much, and special thanks to Philip sir, for taking out this time, and ma'am, also to you for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, Philip sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. All the best. Bye.
Right. Bye. Okay. Bye, ma'am.